Okay, and we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
So we were discussing Ludonarrative, Dissonance, and well, according to Tommy, it's more or less unavoidable, and there's basically nothing you can do. I mean, your game is going to mess up any story you want to tell.
Well,
that's it.
I don't.
That was my takeaway.
I don't want to put words in Tommy's mouth. I don't know if that's what he meant, but he definitely was.
He was really pessimistic.
Yeah, he was very.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he's like, yeah, not gonna happen, and that's it. There was no, okay, yeah, maybe this way or the other way.
That's true, right? Because
and he was just simply, I don't know, it gave me the impression that he was either games somehow managed to convey exactly the same kind of narrative as a book, or they are garbage.
Oh,
that's it. There's no middle point.
I would say, Tommy, you took some pot shots. I see, like, very. There's this part where he criticizes. He says, yeah, games usually reward you with story through a cinematic or something, and I find these cinematics pretty distasteful. Have you ever seen Resident Evil? And the way they use those live action cinematics where there are some amateur actors trying their best to not sound like...
right, yes, he was mocking the voice actors.
I mean, seriously, are you gonna use that as an example? Yeah, it's the worst acting ever, and I don't know.
Yeah, kind of cheap shots.
Was that the point? Was that like, hey, yeah, I mean, video games... But of course, they don't have the budget to hire decent actors. Or I mean, back then.
Yeah, back then.
Yeah, right now you have like.
Like actual actors.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman narrating Civilizations and.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage being a tiny robot.
Okay. Nowadays it's different. Back then.
Yeah, back then was something completely different.
Yeah, so that Resident Evil thing was.
Was kind of cheap.
One of the things I'm gonna say, like, I can criticize about the book, but I will say, yeah, we mentioned that, right? Like saying, usually video games treat story as a reward, and when that happens, I will say that is kind of a
but
dissonance.
I don't know. I think some games treat it as a reward. I would argue. Final Fantasy and those the first cinematic games, then the story was like a very important reward. More or less, that was the point of the game. You played because you wanted the reward, which was the story and the cinematics, and these movies that we have never before seen. But I would say that at least back in the day, most of the time the story was just crap that someone threw out in a napkin and placed on top of the game.
Oh yeah, story was not a big concern.
Yeah, it was not a prize because it was just random garbage that someone came up with just because other games were about something. They said, yeah, our game needs some topic, so whatever.
That is
plumber and mushrooms. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he criticizes that, and that is a valid point. I mean,
it is.
Story was not a big concern of game development.
But that's the thing.
For a huge amount of time.
But
of course, it's not anymore.
I would argue that it was not important because they didn't care much about story because it was not important. They didn't have the resources to convey a story. At the level at which we can do it nowadays. The first time we probably saw like relevant, true storytelling was probably like Super NES maybe. When we were actually getting like true RPGs. Well, I guess the Final Fantasies came.
Well, actually, come on, man. RPGs started with the whole text-based adventures.
Yeah, I know, but
There was a lot of story there.
yeah, no,
right?
there was a story, but that was like it happened more or less in your mind. I'm kind of referencing like when you saw like acting in the characters and you could like watch your favorite characters like emoting and conveying their emotions and telling their stories.
Well, I would say that's not necessary to convey a good story.
Okay, but I mean that's the media, the medium of video games. If you want to read text, you go read a book. I mean, it's more or less the same.
Shit, sorry, I'm in a boss fight right now. It's not the best time to be talking about Ludonarrative Dissonance. Fuck! Am I gonna die?
Maybe.
I shouldn't die. Metro is not a hard game.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, you just have to mash it.
Yeah, that's another problem. I mean, of course, I mean, conveying a story, absolutely right. You only need text, and that's it. That's why that's why we have books.
Yeah, whatever. The thing is, I mean, the Holy Grail is supposed to be, you know, between cinematics or between story or whatever. You should not crave for story. You should be like the gameplay itself should be creating the story, right? I mean, that's
okay.
That's like, therefore, in that moment, you shouldn't have ludonarrative dissonance.
Okay,
right?
I get it. I don't know, man. I kind of appreciate the fact that the story is kind of my prize.
Me too, honestly. I kind of like that format.
Yeah, I kind of liked it that way.
Back in the days when I was making my thesis, I had to give a lot of thought to this, right? Because of course I was a child, and I said in a childlike manner, yeah, many games fail at, you know,
At conveying stories.
Conveying the theme, because I was going for a very Lovecraftian
Very
game.
moody game.
Yeah, and I said many games attempt this, few succeed, but I have an idea for a game that is gonna convey its themes and everything through gameplay, and then the story is just gonna be the cherry on top.
So you were like trying to get the player in the mood and make the player feel like they are in the game or story or world or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course, through gameplay and stuff.
through playing, because
Yeah, you were not going to tell them you are in a scary world. You're going to make them scared, or make them feel like the suspense of the story.
well, without getting into too much detail,
Of course.
it was an investigation game, right? It was about mystery or whatever, and I wanted the more you investigate, or the more your character knows, the gameplay is changing with it. Like, I'm not gonna exactly say how, okay, because we will have to go through
Yeah, explain the game.
a lot of exactly. It would take too much time, but my idea was that all of your advancements in the story would have an impact on the gameplay.
Yeah.
And that's
So like acquiring new powers and acquiring new powers.
New knowledge would translate into, I guess, powers, or
Yeah, of course, powers,
not
moves,
exactly powers, but
items, whatever new things you can use as a player.
yeah, but it would like change your HUD, or your not only things you could use, like the way you perceive the surroundings would also change.
Okay.
So
all right.
it was not just about getting power-ups. It was about how your character behaved and everything.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like
It sounded like an interesting idea. I don't know if it would work. It would probably be cool. But would it solve ludonarrative dissonance? Of course not. What?
Eternal Darkness.
Yes. Eternal Darkness was a big...
Eternal Darkness.
Big,
there you
big...
go. There's the thing we couldn't come up.
What? No, come on. Eternal Darkness has like a huge ludonarrative dissonance. Actually, Eternal Darkness was a huge part of why I wanted to make my thesis on a Lovecraftian game, because
I mean, I was thinking on all the crazy, literally crazy effects when you start losing your sanity.
oh yeah,
I mean, that's a very good way of making you as a player through gameplay experience this madness and this insanity.
that's fucking true. Actually, you're right. That's
fucking the perfect example.
yeah, that's a very good example of.
I mean, I won't comment on fighting or or the other crazy things you do in the game.
Yeah.
But that tiny detail, I think that's very, very good.
The fighting is the downfall of Eternal Darkness.
It's kind of fun in its silliness. Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
keep on track.
it's just
keep on track.
so broken. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? No, okay, I'm going
Focus.
astray.
Focus.
Yeah, I just keep on going in the spider wall through the. Oh wait, I think I have to go there. Yeah, later.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good example, I think.
Yes, it's a good example.
Yeah.
But of course, Eternal Darkness, in everything it does right, it does a couple of things wrong.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that's where I said, hey, yeah, man, I'm gonna do
You
everything.
gotta fix that.
Yeah, I can fix everything because I'm a 20-year-old guy. Anyway, yeah, it's not easy.
Okay, but that's the thing. I mean, it's obviously not easy. It's obviously very
It's not
complicated.
obvious. It's not obvious, but it is hard.
I mean, come on. Well, as soon as you kind of get into actual game development and you read a couple of books, it becomes obvious. Because as you say, there's no easy to download manual where you can read, oh, this is how you solve that.
Yeah.
This is how you solve the link between story and gameplay.
Well, it maybe sounds easy in your mind. I mean,
Exactly.
it certainly did for me.
You see, that's the thing. But what I wanted to say is there is hope. There is a lot of hope. I mean, the loss of sanity effects in Eternal Darkness, I think, is the proof that even in those olden days,
What
with
the
like really
fuck was it?
with really big polygons,
Yeah.
they probably by mistake or by joking, they actually managed to tap into that link. I mean, of merging or making you feel the story and the mood through gameplay and through mechanics. So that's what I didn't find in the book. There's no hope in the book. It's like, no, it's absolutely difficult, and even if you make an amazing job, it will still be lacking. And I don't think that. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I was. Oh, wait, I'm getting lost. Okay, I was gonna tell you. Shit, wait. Should we pause? We have dog issues again. Yeah, you just said. Okay,
The book gives us no hope.
Yeah, gives us no hope. Something I told you before we started was like, the book is called "Why Video Games Matter,"
Oh, yeah.
and
It's never actually clear why.
it just gives you the question, why video games
Why
matter?
video games matter?
It's not like I'm gonna tell you why. No, it's like,
Yeah,
please,
I'm giving you this question.
does someone know why video games matter?
Yeah,
Or something
because
like that.
because I need it. I need someone to answer that for me.
Yeah. Oh, look, more secrets.
Well, I guess
This is the awesome thing of Metro. It's just, looking for
for stuff.
shit everywhere.
I mean, yeah, video games matter for the same reason books matter. That's it. And yeah, I mean, there is many solutions for ludonarrative dissonance. I mean, there are many, and they come in lots of different ways. Of course, there's not a single solution that you can apply to anything, but that's part of the what's fun of making games, like solving these problems.
What was the last chapter?
The horrible drug adventures.
Yeah, well, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, because I think he's. I mean, the book is why video games matter, and somehow I think it's like the video games made him. It was a horrible experience, but that's how he got to where he is and what he knows. I don't think.
I don't think he blames video games.
No,
for
no,
anything.
it's not a matter of blaming. It's just like, yeah,
What?
that was the shitty road that took me here, and I'm better because of that.
Oh.
That's it. I mean, why they matter? Because, well, maybe kind of what I just said. I mean, because anything you do in your life matters. That's it. So they don't matter, especially because they're video games, just because they are experiences. Anyway, so yeah, and yeah, that last chapter is.
I don't know if I have anything to say about the last chapter. I mean,
I
it's
would
just
only
a
I would only say that
personal experience of
if you want to spook
what?
anyone about the dangers of video games,
Oh.
that is the perfect chapter.
Well,
I mean,
you-
anyone who is a little bit worried about like the problems with the cliche problems of video games.
well, it's just that you can't say that there is no problem with, or I mean, there is no danger in video games, or video games can't do any harm. Yeah, I've seen people whose lives have been harmed by video games.
Yeah,
okay?
but
yes, it is true.
But I'm going to say what.
It all depends on the person. It's not like video games are harmful. It's just
Exactly, that's the thing. But that's the thing.
What?
If a scary person, if an ignorant person who is scared of whatever video game because they don't know better,
so
they read that, and what they are going to take away from that is, yeah, video games are drugs. Period.
So what? You shouldn't just say that. I mean, it's okay.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, it's I don't think he spends enough time explaining that, yeah, video games are as addictive as candy or as exercise or as another million things that you can use to get in a bad place. I mean, an addictive personality would find anything to get addicted to.
Sure.
That's what I don't think was explained well enough. Then again, it's not a self-help book.
Yeah, it's not about that. I mean,
Yeah, I guess it's not about that. No, well, you know, that was I was constantly thinking, man, if Granny, if scary Granny read this, she would be like freaked.
She would freak out.
She would freak out.
Sure.
That's it.
Anyway, Granny is not gonna read that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm
She
guessing.
will never read that.
I'm guessing it's a book for gamers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess many gamers can relate to that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I can understand, and I mean, I really don't have a really addictive personality. I mean, my addiction to video games usually lasts a weekend. I mean, where I truly do not sleep, do not eat, do not do anything but play. And that's it. I spend 3 days like that, and yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Well, okay.
I'm very happy, and of course, I am really lucky because I don't get obsessed with things like that.
Yeah, well, I have a addictive personality.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
get easily addicted.
I know. I would guess most people are like that.
I don't know, maybe. And plus, I know a lot of people who have like issues with gaming. One especially whose life is completely destroyed by video games, and I don't exaggerate when I
Absorbed by
say that.
video games.
Well, your dog is eating
Okay.
on top of me.
Come over here.
It's just eating on top of me.
There
Really.
you go, doggy dog. There. Ay. Sit down.
Here's your bone.
There you go. That's it.
Ew.
Okay.
By the way, the music in this area is really good.
Yeah. Is there like an album
Of course.
that I can like buy or download?
Yeah, I mean, one time, I think one of the reasons I started playing this game was I was listening to a compilation of best metal music, and
This showed up.
yeah, one of the tracks was from this game, and I said, okay, yeah, I have to play it.
Cool. Okay, so well, I guess we can finish the review. we will probably come to it sometime in the future, but for now, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I can give a concise thing about what I took out of this book.
No, that's the thing. I mean, the thing is, would you recommend it? I would most certainly recommend it.
Oh yes, anyone who's interested in video game
Yeah,
design.
if you're interested in video games, you would. I would say you have to read it. I mean, it's really interesting. It has like interesting points of view. If you're a developer, you must read it. It's not optional. I mean, you need to read it. Probably to disagree with it, but that's the important thing. You have to read it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed all the even I don't know, the parts where he talks with Jonathan Blow.
Oh yes,
and stuff. The interviews were really nice.
I think yeah, it's a great book.
And I don't know, yeah, of course it has like it is a pretentious kind of book. I mean,
yeah, but you know what?
Whatever.
If I had been told that from the beginning, I would have probably took it like, oh, here comes the pretensions, and like enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
I now realize that I should have took it a little bit more on the enjoyment side.
Let's okay. Yeah.
Because I just finished reading like on writing from Stephen King, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the Stephen King mindset where you should never be pretentious. And you should only write with your lamest possible words.
Stephen King is an apparently anti-pretentious person.
Oh yeah, and I guess that's why I think he's like the best writer ever.
Okay, well, next episode we should talk about a bit about writing, because
okay, cool.
My life has been deep in that shit. What the fuck am I?
Okay, so yeah, read the book, and next time we talk about writing.